The night I found out, I was not looking for anything. I was not suspicious. I was not the kind of wife who checks her husband's phone out of fear. I checked it because I trusted him. We shared passwords. We shared prayers. We shared everything. Or so I believed. His phone was on the kitchen counter. A bank notification came in. I glanced at it the way you glance at something that doesn't concern you. And then I saw the name. Tracy. And my whole body went cold. Not because the name was strange, but because I knew exactly who Tracy was. She was the woman David once told me he almost married. The woman from before me. The woman he said was his past. I am his present. I am 3 years into this marriage. I am carrying our second child. Our daughter was asleep down the hall, and Tracy's name was on a Zelle transfer notification like she belonged there. I opened the banking app quietly. Last month, Tracy. The month before, Tracy. 3 months back, Tracy. 6 months, Tracy. 11 months. Every single month. Without missing one. Without telling me. Without asking me. I sat at that kitchen counter and my hands would not stop shaking. Not because I am a weak woman. I want you to understand that. I shook because I am a woman who loves deeply. And deep love, when it is betrayed, does not make you weak. It makes you dangerous. David came out of the bathroom with a towel around his waist, not a worry on his face. He did not know what I had seen, and he did not know the ground had already shifted under his feet. I looked at him. This man I chose, this man I prayed for, this man who rubs my back when pregnancy exhausts me. And I asked him one question, quietly. Why are you sending her money? He frowned, like the question confused him. Who? Tracy. The way his face changed in that moment, I will never forget it for as long as I live. Something moved behind his eyes. Something guilty, and he stepped forward fast and tried to take the phone from my hand. Not calmly, fast, the way you move when you are trying to stop something from being seen. What are you doing with my phone? He snapped, and I held it tighter, because I was done being caught off guard. He took it from me eventually, but the damage was already done. I had already seen everything. He gave me excuses. Tracy is struggling. Her husband is irresponsible. She has no one. And he said it the way men say things they have already rehearsed in their minds, casually, without looking at me properly, without understanding what those words were doing to the woman standing in front of him, pregnant, betrayed, and trying not to fall apart. I asked him one thing. What is your business with her struggle? She is married. You are married. When did her husband's failures become your responsibility? He said, and I want you to hear this clearly. He said, at least she was part of my past. Part of his past. And she was bleeding into my present. We argued, back and forth. And when he set the phone down on the counter and turned away from me like I was background noise, I picked it up again. That was when I saw something that broke me in a different way. The first transfer happened the exact same month we had our worst argument. The month I told him I felt invisible in this marriage, and the month I cried myself to sleep while he faced the wall. That same month, March, was the month he sent the first $500 to Tracy, then $800, then $1,500, growing, increasing. Like the more I needed him, the more he gave himself to her. I opened their messages, long messages, warm messages. She called him her helper, her safe place. She said, "You are the only one who understands me." And he never told her to stop. He never redirected her. Or he let her call him her safe place while I was here being his wife. I pulled up my calculator app. In 11 months, David had sent Tracy more money than he had given me for my personal needs in 2 years of marriage. 2 years. And I sat with that number and I felt something shift inside me. Not just pain. Something harder than pain. Something that makes a woman either destroy everything around her or rise so high the people who underestimated her can no longer see her face. I looked at him. "Oh, so this is what you've been doing?" He looked back without guilt. He actually said, "If helping her makes me a bad husband, then maybe I am." He expected me to scream. He expected tears. He expected me to beg or break. But I smiled, softly, calmly, and I said, "Don't worry. If helping someone from your past is not wrong, maybe I should start helping someone from mine too." The room went completely silent. He looked at me like he was seeing a stranger, and for the first time in our marriage, and David was not sure he knew Monica at all. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. That night, I lay on my side of the bed and I searched for a name I had not touched in 3 years. Marcus. Marcus, who never wanted anything serious but always wanted me. Marcus, who would pick up before the second ring. My fingers hovered over the screen, and I almost typed it. I was that close. But then I heard my father's voice. The last thing he ever said to me before he passed. He held my hand and he said, "Monica, marriage is not for children. You will see things that shake you. But do not fight your husband like an enemy. Protect your home, even when it hurts. Protect it." I set my phone face down on the nightstand, and I wept the way women weep when they are not performing pain for anyone. Deep, private, full-body tears. I cried for what I thought we were. I cried for my daughter sleeping down the hall. I cried for this baby I was carrying who deserved to come into a whole home. And then I did the thing that surprised even me. I knelt beside the bed, pregnant, trembling, and I prayed. Not loudly, not for him to hear. I prayed because I had nothing left, and God was the only one I trusted in that moment. I said, "Lord, I don't understand this man tonight. I don't trust him right now. But I am placing his heart in your hands. If this marriage can stand, you have to fix what I cannot see." I didn't know David was awake, but I found out later that he heard every word. He lay there and he heard his pregnant wife praying for him instead of destroying him. And something cracked open inside him that he did not expect. He shifted, restless. His breathing changed, and later that night he sat up and he called my name, Monica. I turned and I did not meet him with a weapon. I met him with my face open, and he said, "I'm sorry." Not dramatically, not with grand gestures, just 2 words that were real. We talked until the room was no longer tense. He told me that when we had our big argument in March, he felt unappreciated. He felt like he was failing me and he didn't know how to say it. And when Tracy reached out and told him he was her hero, her helper, her safe place, he felt needed in a way his ego was hungry for. He said, "I was foolish, and I didn't see how far it was going." And I believed him, not because I was naive, but because I know the difference between a man performing apology and a man genuinely ashamed. The next morning, I was walking toward our bedroom when I stopped outside the door. I heard his voice inside, low and firm. He was on the phone. "Tracy, please stop calling me." I pressed my back against the wall. "I am married," he said. "Focus on your own home. What I was doing for you almost cost me my family. I love my wife. Then I love my children. Let the past stay where it belongs." When I walked into that room, he looked at me and ended the call. I didn't say a word. I walked to him and I hugged him from behind. He held my hands so tightly. He said, "I was playing with fire and I didn't even realize it. Old flames don't need much to reignite. I was foolish to keep going back to something I should have left behind for good." He blocked her number. He deleted the contact. He deleted every message. And that chapter closed. Here is what I took from that season of my marriage that I want every woman watching to hold on to. Emotional affairs do not always begin with physical attraction. They begin with sympathy. They begin with one person feeling unseen at home and another person offering to see them. And the moment you allow someone from your past to fill an emotional space that belongs to your present, you have already opened a door that is very hard to close. And I also learned that revenge feels powerful in the dark, but it is ruinous in the light. If I had sent that message to Marcus that night, I would not have saved my marriage. I would have confirmed to myself that I was willing to burn it down, and my children would have grown up in the ashes of a decision I made in one moment of pain. The greatest weapon I had that night was not my anger, it was my discipline. And the greatest victory I have ever won in my marriage is one nobody saw. Because the battles that matter most are the quiet ones, the ones you fight on your knees, the ones where you choose your children over your pride, the ones where you say, "This home is worth protecting even when protecting, it costs me something." If you were in my position that night, I want you to honestly ask yourself, what would you have chosen? Not what you think you should have chosen. What would you have actually done in that moment, in that dark, with that name on the screen and that man turned toward the wall? Tell me in the comments, because the women watching this right now are not strangers to this kind of pain, and your story might be the very thing that helps someone else choose peace over pride tonight.